There are moments that, they say, stay with you forever. They hover like soft murmurs, subtle yet always there. It has been 2 years since that momentous day. It has been 2 years since the world shifted in ways we could never have imagined. What began as a simple beach outing with my son, Leonard, soon took an unforeseen twist. My beloved Phoenix could not be present. He was never that. My focus was always on my work. And I had become familiar with it. Familiar with the quietness of solitude. Yet that day, it seemed far from ordinary. Not in the past, nor in the present. We spread the towels under the golden rays. The sun's embrace perhaps a touch too intense for ease. I nestled in, welcoming the gentle hush that enveloped me, far removed from the world's nose, and asked Leonard to smooth some oil onto my back. I moved forward with unwavering resolve. He is my son, the embodiment of my pride and joy. What brings that about? At first, it was just his hands, gently extending a helping touch. But then, I felt it stirring within me. I felt him plunge deeper and deeper, and I took no action to stop him. What prevented me from putting an end to his actions? You think you understand the essence of your being. You think you understand the intricate web of your family dynamics. Yet, there lies that unique instant, the one capable of unraveling everything. On that day at the beach, everything shifted for me, and I have never turned back since. Phoenix and I marked the milestone of over 15 beautiful years together in marriage. Those who were familiar with our journey would paint us as the quintessential pair, a charming abode filled with delightful little ones and the steady way of life. Yet, the imperfections lie in wait, concealed until you cross the threshold. Only those who have journeyed through it can grasp the essence of the void. For years, the journey of Phoenix's career shaped the very essence of his being. He was always hustling, weaving his way through the daily challenges, evenings, weekends, and festive days. I frequently found comfort in the thought that his endeavors were aimed at our advantage. The countless hours and unwavering dedication were woven into the tapestry of the life he was crafting for our family. Yet, after a significant passage of time, that tale starts to come apart at the seams. A home loses its spirit when it stands vacant, stripped of warmth and joy. I slipped quietly into the shadows for him as he steps through the door. My existence seemed to fade into the background, barely registering in his mind. He stopped asking about my feelings, desires, and needs. Our exchange was short, centering primarily on Bill's groceries and the children. He held dear Leonard and his little sister Issa. Yet, even amidst their presence, he felt like nothing more than a fleeting shadow. He lingered in the moment, a figure both there and elusive. I would find myself seated at the table across from him, lost in thought, wondering if he even acknowledged my existence any longer. That morning, I can still picture myself in the kitchen as Phoenix hurried out the door. With a swift motion, he grabbed his briefcase, bestowed a gentle kiss on the top of Issa's head, and cast a brief, lingering look in my direction. Just for a moment. My sincerest apologies. Freya. Regrettably, I must inform you that I won't be able to attend today. A twist unfolded at work. I chose not to contest it. I nodded, as was my custom, a tightness settling in my throat. I comforted myself with the thought that all was well. Leonard and I are ready to embark on our own adventure. At 16, Leonard stood tall and lanky, his brown eyes reflecting the essence of his father's gaze. Yet, his face bore a tender softness. He stayed silent, even when I brought up that it would just be the two of us. It appears he had grown used to his father's regular disappearances too. With a nonchalant shrug, he grabbed the bags and followed me to the car. As I drove, I caught sight of him in the passenger seat, earbuds nestled in, lost in thought while staring out the window. Much like many teenagers do, a grin slowly spread across my face. He was growing at an astonishing rate, and there were moments when I couldn't help but wonder if I would just blink and lose him too. The path to the beach unfolded like a tale that lingered, each moment stretching into the next, as if time itself was reluctant to let go. My mind wandered, as it frequently does, to Phoenix. As I look back on the moments we've shared, I'm transported to cozy movie nights, leisurely strolls, and spontaneous adventures that led us to nowhere in particular. Everything unfolds simply for the excitement of the experience. I reflected on his tender touch, and the glimmer in his eyes each time they met mine. Years had passed since I last felt that sensation. In that moment, I found myself stripped of all emotion. I found myself completely drained, burdened by the weight of invisibility. Finally, we arrived at our destination, where Leonard awaited to assist with the bags, leading me to a tranquil spot by the water's edge. I set the towels in place while he got the umbrella ready. A mysterious impulse compelled me to connect with him. Perhaps it was because he stood alone in the room, a solitary figure amidst the silence. Maybe what I truly desired was for someone to hear me out. Isn't it invigorating to wander through the world around us? I proclaimed, striving to infuse my words with a sense of cheerfulness. With a subtle nod, he brushed his hair back effortlessly, a casual gesture that spoke volumes. Of course, dear mother, it's a true pleasure. As I nestled onto the towel, the warm rays of the sun wrapped around my skin, crafting a blissful sensation. I paused for a heartbeat. I let myself relax, as though I were trying to cast off the weight of the last few years, even if only for a brief moment. Then it struck me, the all. I sat up and turned to face Leonard. Would you be able to help me with applying this to my back? I asked. I find myself at a standstill, unable to navigate this path alone. He cast a fleeting look my way, a flicker of uncertainty dancing in his eyes, before extending his hand to grasp the bottle from mine. Once again, I settled back, my face resting against a towel as I waited. The first touch was gentle and intentional. His hands quivered with doubt, as though he dreaded inflicting any hurt upon me. A smile spread across my face, transporting me to those treasured times when he was just a tiny tot. With a firm grip on my hand, we navigated the street side by side. In those days, his hands were so small. Don't hesitate to apply a little extra pressure. I proposed, my voice be somewhat hushed. All is well. He focused intently, and his hands grew more confident as they smoothly spread the all across my shoulder. All is well. I closed my eyes, enveloped by the warmth and the gentle cadence of his gentle caress. I paused for a moment to fully relish the experience. The moment hit me with a force that was utterly unexpected. It had been eternities since anyone had touched me. But then I felt his hands drift downwards, softly and purposefully, following the contour of my spine. My breath caught in my throat, and I opened my lips to speak. But silence wrapped around me like a shroud. Ideas danced in a whirlwind within my mind. Still, I held my silence. I comforted myself with the thought that all was well, that he was simply offering assistance. I found myself caught in a web of thoughts, unraveling the complexities of it all. Yet, I found myself not in that place. His hands paused for a heartbeat, just beyond the edge of my towel. His hesitation lingered in the air, thick and heavy. I could feel my own. Instead of stopping him, I decided to raise my voice. All is well. Feel free to explore that area too. The words hung in the air, thick and suffocating, and as soon as they slipped from my lips, I understood there was no turning back. Leonard held his tongue, a quiet presence in the room. He continued on, unwavering and relentless. I closed my eyes firmly, sensing his hands upon me, placed just so, not as high as they should be. My heart raced intensely, as if it might resonate in his ears. An undeniable impulse surged within me, compelling me to elevate myself, to encourage him to stop. Yet, I decided against it. I found myself unable to. I let it reveal itself. Even now, I find myself pondering the motivations that lie beneath it all. Perhaps it was the quiet embrace of solitude. Perhaps I was too quick to chase after approval, even when it wasn't warranted. Perhaps, indeed, maybe I just drifted away. On that day by the shore, a deep transformation took place within me, for all time, reshaping the path of my existence. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey through the tale. I realize this might be challenging to take in. Your readiness to lend an ear is something I genuinely appreciate. If you find joy in this video or know someone who could resonate with the tale I'm weaving, pause for a moment to tap that like button and join our community by subscribing. Your support carries great significance. Your encouragement fuels my passion to keep weaving tales like this. It serves as a gentle reminder that I walk this path not in solitude. Alright, let us embark on this journey once more. After that day at the beach, everything transformed. I simply couldn't ignore it. The feelings I went through, the visions that unfolded before my eyes, and the way Leonard looked at me afterward. It was not just a passing look or a momentary meeting. It stood firm. Every time our gazes intertwined, I felt a change stirring within him, a captivating essence that I struggled to define, yet could not bring myself to overlook. I sought to conceal it from view. As the sun dipped below the horizon and shadows danced in the twilight, I found myself back at home that evening. I poured my heart into preserving a feeling of normalcy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I set about crafting a delightful dinner. I asked Leonard about his day at school. And so, the laundry was folded with care as the night deepened around me. My hands quivered as I navigated through the task. As I journeyed through my memories, each moment unfolded before me once more. His hands, how they lingered, the energy thrumming within me. I despised myself for it, and I felt a deep-seated bitterness towards him for causing me to feel this way about my own son. Phoenix drifted through life, blissfully oblivious to the unfolding events around them. He returned home as the night deepened, just like he always did. His tie hung askew, and his face bore the weight of weariness. He gently brushed his lips against my cheek, a faint whisper of a time long past, challenging day. I asked, yearning for a profound connection. With a grunt and a nod, the tale unfolds. He was already journeying toward the living room. It has always been this way. His presence hung in the air, a fleeting whisper of what once was. Once again, I find myself shrouded in a veil of invisibility. That night, I lay in bed, enveloped in the quiet of the darkness. As I lay there, my eyes fixed on the ceiling, the gentle sound of Phoenix's soft snores filled the air beside me. The house stood in silence, but my mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. My thoughts wandered back to Leonard. To the rhythm of his hands as they danced in the fervor of his stare. I came to realize it was not right. I came to understand that it was time to bring it to a close, no matter what it entailed, before it unfolded into something greater. Yet there lingered another facet of my being, a shadowy presence, a feeling of solitude that longed to hold on to it, that yearned for the recognition that ignited the feeling of being seen. As the days unfolded, Leonard held his tongue, a quiet presence amidst the passing time. Yet, his silence conveyed a wealth of meaning. He didn't quite avoid my presence. Instead, it felt as though he lingered even closer. He would observe me closely. In moments of cooking, cleaning, or even just finding solace on the couch at night. I let it reveal itself. I released him from my grasp. I surrendered to the moment. The weekend approached, drawing near with anticipation. A warmth returned, enveloping the house in a tight, uneasy hug. The Phoenix had disappeared into the ether, engaged in a sudden, unexpected change of plans. Departing, Leonard and I are left to traverse the well-known solitude once more. I asked if he would be interested in revisiting the beach, Just the two of us. It remains a mystery what compelled me to take that action. As I pondered, the thought crossed my mind that perhaps stepping outside could unveil a clearer perspective on my whispers of the mind. Perhaps I was on a quest for a challenge, a means to demonstrate that I could put everything else aside. The journey unfolded with a tranquil grace this time. Leonard made the decision to forego his earbuds, embracing the world around him instead. He lingered by the window, lost in thought, his eyes tracing the world beyond. His knee danced with an uncontainable energy. A compelling desire welled up within me, urging me to voice a single word, to break the silence that surrounded us. Yet, every time I attempted to voice my thoughts, the words seemed to get stuck in my throat. As we set foot on the sandy shores, we discovered the beach to be almost entirely uninhabited. The vibrant blue of the water dances in my mind, while the soft whisper of the wind against my skin evokes memories that refuse to fade. Once again, I spread out the towels, just as I had done before, while Leonard lent a hand in preparing everything. This time, I chose not to ask him to apply oil on my back. I found myself unable to. I stayed motionless, my eyes firmly closed, pretending that everything was just fine. Even with my gaze shut, his stare was tangible. His eyes were undeniably locked onto mine. The pivotal moment unfolded later that afternoon. We decided to cleanse ourselves at the beach showers before embarking on our journey home. It was destined to be a fleeting instant, simply to sweep the grains of sand from our skin. However, a moment unfolded then, an event that lingers just out of reach of my comprehension. Upon our arrival at the showers, it was Leonard who took the lead, stepping in first, letting the water flow gracefully down his back. I paused at the threshold, watching him for a fleeting moment before I chose to step into the scene alongside him. I'm not quite certain what stirred within me. The forthcoming events transcend my capacity to articulate. I'll let it remain a mystery. It was a moment that slipped away like sand through fingers, a tempest of longing for seclusion, and the nameless emotion that hovers just beyond grasp. It came with a force that was anything but soft, striking like a sudden storm. It was a whirlwind of passion, a fervor that burned brightly yet strayed from the path of clarity in every conceivable way. Yet, I found myself powerless to stop it. I felt no inclination to. As the last echoes of time slipped away, we stood steadfast, anchored in our spot. The unyielding rain surrounds us, a constant presence in our tale, wiping away the traces, while the undeniable truth remains unscathed. In that moment, he wrapped his arms around me, holding me close in a way that felt like a long-lost memory, a warmth I hadn't experienced in years. I granted him permission to proceed. After that, a hush fell over us. We dried off, gathered our belongings, and returned to the car, lost in a serene reflection. From the edges of my vision, I caught a fleeting glimpse of Leonard, his cheeks flushed with hue, his movements stiff and deliberate. I came to understand that I had broken everything apart. It dawned on me that we had crossed a threshold that was eternally out of reach. After many years, I felt a deep and vibrant connection to life once again. The journey back unfolded in a hushed manner. The vehicle felt like a tight cage, heavy with the weight of its own presence. It felt as though the very air surrounding us was pressing heavily upon our shoulders. I gripped the steering wheel, a fierce resolve coursing through me, focusing intently on the journey that lies before me. Yet, my thoughts danced in a tempest. I could still feel his presence, Leonard, his hands, his body. Felt the weight of everything we just experienced. My eyes couldn't resist the urge to steal glances at him in the passenger seat. He sat stiffly, eyes fixed on the world beyond the window, his face a deep shade of crimson and his jaw set tight. In an instant, his voice shattered the stillness, weaving through the air like a spell. "Mother," he breathed, his voice a soft, fragile whisper, shaded with doubt. I turned my eyes away from him. I found myself unable to. Yet, I found myself drawn to his words. "What is this?" What just unfolded back there? My heart raced with anticipation. For a fleeting moment, I contemplated pretending not to understand, brushing aside his remarks, and guiding the dialogue down another path. Yet the mask had lost its meaning, particularly after all we had been through. I took a deep breath, my voice quivering as I responded. I'm uncertain not it was the truth, or maybe the closest semblance of it. I found myself utterly unaware of the events that had unfolded or the motivations that lay beneath them. What I discovered was that everything had changed. Quietness hung in the air as we made our way to the driveway. At last, I turned off the engine. But still, neither of us stirred. Leonard finally directed his attention toward me, his focus sharpening. And in that instant, I captured a fleeting spark in his eyes sent a shiver racing down my spine. It was a state beyond confusion, guilt, or shame. A profound longing stirred within. How long have these feelings been a part of your journey? He asked. His words sent a shiver down my spine, for I'd been contemplating the very same question. As I looked upon him, a powerful wave of feeling washed over me. I whispered, uncertainty lacing my words. Maybe, just maybe, it's been a while longer than I wish to acknowledge. Recognized. In the stillness of the night, we found ourselves wrapped in a blanket of silence, sitting side by side, each adrift in our own reflections. I envisioned that this would mark the conclusion, that we would cross the threshold, striving to wipe it all away from our thoughts and behave as though nothing had ever taken place. Yet, Leonard imagined something unique. Just as I was about to turn the handle, he leaned in and pressed his lips against mine. A moment suspended in time. It started softly, hesitantly, as though he worried I might pull away. Yet I decided against it. He inclined. As our lips met, a wave of passion surged through me, and in that moment, I surrendered completely. Whether it was the solitude of being overlooked for years, or the way Leonard looked at me as if I were the only one that mattered, it held significance, and I found myself yielding to it. Just beyond the threshold of our dwelling, the days that followed unfolded like a vivid tapestry, each moment weaving into the next in a whirlwind of events. Leonard hovered close, always in pursuit, moments to connect with me, or meet my eyes when the world was quiet. I counsel myself to pause, to create space, to bring closure to whatever this situation has evolved into. Yet each time I look into his eyes, I saw the echo of solitude reflected in his gaze. We were like reflections, each revealing the same longing, the same void to one another. I found myself drawn in, unable to turn away. I felt no inclination to as darkness enveloped the world. I would often find myself nestled in bed beside Phoenix. I found myself entranced, my eyes tracing the patterns of the ceiling as I listened to the soothing cadence of his breath. As I sat in quiet reflection, my thoughts drifted to Leonard in the next room, bringing to mind the warmth of his touch and the way he kindled a flame deep within my soul. And then I closed my eyes, guilt wrapping around my chest resembling a serpent. I always felt it was ephemeral. I sensed that it was a mist. Yet I discovered that I could not bring myself to stop. The strain that lingers in the air between us grew stronger with each passing day, building up to a dramatic climax. As the night deepened, the hour grew late. Phoenix was immersed in work once again, while I savored a tranquil slumber. In the heart of the home, Leonard and I discovered ourselves in the kitchen. While I scrubbed the dishes, I sought to immerse myself in the rhythm of the task, hoping to find solace amidst the swirling chaos surrounding me. I felt his presence hovering just behind me. I turned around, and there he was, gazing at me just as he had before. To sure, once upon a time, there was a character named Leonard, I whispered softly, trying to guide him with care. Yet he continued his journey. He took his first steps into the new space. His presence was so close that I could feel his breath whispering against my neck. Mother, he whispered gently. You linger in my thoughts, always present. I remained motionless. Ensnared in a fleeting instant of astonishment, my heart raced with an intensity that was almost palpable. A sense of impending eruption lingered in the air, as if it could burst forth at any instant. I was compelled to urge him to cease, to withdraw to his room, to simply let me be, yet I decided against it. Instead, I looked up at him and spoke the one thing I knew I shouldn't have. I'm sailing on the same vessel. And thus, we arrived at the conclusion. In that instant, the threads of reality began to fray. Leonard pressed his lips against mine once more. A moment suspended in time, rich with unspoken words and lingering emotions, with a fervor that conveyed a sense of immediacy, and I replied in a similar manner. I felt no particular concern about the wrongness of it all. I felt a sense of detachment from Phoenix Isa and the life we had woven together. My whole existence centered on Leonard, my son, the individual who genuinely made me feel valued. From that moment by the shore, a transformation unfolded. To be honest, I find myself questioning whether they ever will. Leonard and I ventured across a boundary, one that is forever etched in our memories. No matter how hard I try to convince myself otherwise. A brief instant has transformed into a powerful tie, sweeping me along in its wake. The burden of guilt hangs heavy, unwavering and relentless. Yet it cannot restrain my spirit, and that's the element that stirs the deepest trepidation within me. Each day, I find myself captivated by the presence of my husband, Phoenix, and my daughter, Isa, and I find myself pondering how they stay unaware of the subtle cracks that are quietly expanding within our family. Perhaps they are so absorbed in their own realms that they overlook my gradual disappearance. Perhaps I have merely honed my craft in the art of concealment. Yet, deep within my heart, I grasp that this moment is but a whisper in time. When secrets come to light, they ignite a tempest capable of sweeping away all that stands before them. I have tried to find my way to freedom. I find myself repeatedly whispering that this isn't the way it should be. Leonard truly merits greater recognition, and I am worthy of even greater things as well. Yet with every touch, every gaze, I'm enveloped in a world where I am the singular star in his vast cosmos. In this moment, I feel utterly adrift. He kindles a flame inside me that I haven't felt in years, maybe not in any other time. And so, that is the truth I must accept. I'm at a crossroads, pondering the best way to navigate this dilemma. I'm feeling a bit unsure about my capacity to navigate this situation. That's why I've come to weave my tale for you. Perhaps there exists a figure who possesses the key to an answer yet to be revealed. I have not yet given it thought. Your perspective would be invaluable as I weave my way through the intricate tale I've spun. Before it descends deeper into chaos, I would be eager to listen to your insights or tales if you've encountered a similar journey, or be acquainted with someone who has. Your insights hold great significance for me. Allow this to unfold as a tale of warning. Loneliness can guide you to unforeseen places. Stay true to your journey and steer clear of the bewilderment I face. Do not wait for the fabric of your world to fray before you. Notice the whispers of change. Once you step beyond that boundary, there's no going back. Your attention is truly valued. Your thoughts and reflections would be greatly appreciated. If you discovered this video to be beneficial, show your appreciation and remember to subscribe for more captivating tales. I yearn for a sense of connection and understanding. Frequently, the deepest betrayals are not those we impose upon others, yet it is often the burdens we impose upon ourselves.